cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh podcast. My name is Sunny. I am your host. I'm here with my co-host, Caleb.
Hello.
And of course, before we get too far, we want to thank our wonderful patrons. So, a huge thank you to Cam Yang. Dragon Shields are the only protection I use. Zephyrus, Austin Johnson, Kane Martin, HGH, Cyber, Josh Rosen, Marshawn Jones, Zyphorus, Eat the Feet, AD, Anthony Lila, Dank Nugs, Deep Sea D's Nuts, Earth Machine, Best Deck, Epe. Has anyone actually read Toy Vendor? I am McLincoln, Mountain Man, Oatmeal Spaghetti, Owen Alvarado, Pig, Rudolph, Sprite, Farter, Super Ancient, Deep Sea D's Nuts, King Coelacanth, Tier Limit, Best Deck, Tier Limit's having this floodgate in your mouth. Oh my god, y'all are crazy. The Hoover Dam is a floodgate. Unbanned number 95. Konami. Understanding and reading are two different things. Virtually Savior's World. Zingis Khan. Aaron Gardner. Asami. Brandon Potter. Dragon Maidenless Behavior. Jerry Beans, man. Long Ring Longland is my favorite One Piece arc. Nordic Best Deck. Old Man Red. Pin Code 143. Ray Powell. Shockmaster did nothing wrong. Slaking it up. Stop crying about call by. It's balanced. Why, yes, I can say that. VFD's nuts in your mouth. Yeah, no. Being bound by that of the head judge. I repeat, there is no way anyone is legally allowed to say that. Hold on, wait. Let me go through these last couple again. Okay. Why, yes, I can say that. VFD's nuts in your mouth. Yeah, no. Being bound by that of the head judge, in all caps. I repeat, there is no way anyone is legally allowed to say that. I like that we have just like two random patrons just fighting over whether or not I'm allowed to say some undisclosed thing near the bottom of the list. That's great, guys. Keep it up. Keep it up.
I hope it's never revealed.
Well, I mean, I guess it would be VFD's nuts in your mouth.
No.
I guess that would be the.
Oh.
Why, yes, I can say that.
Yeah, and then saying yeah.
Okay, I choose to believe that we don't know what it is yet. Now it's just something else you wanted to put out there. All right, so. We also want to, before we get too much further, we got some sponsors. We're gonna hit up the sponsors real quick. So, of course, we want to thank Dragon Shield for sponsoring the podcast.
Good old Dragon Shield.
Dragon Shield is one of the largest TCG accessory manufacturers in the world. They do sleeves, boxes, binders, playmats, all of that wonderful stuff. And if you want to get this awesome shuffling sound, I don't know if you can hear that. But if you want to get that amazing shuffle sound out of your Dragon Shield sleeves, be sure to use our TCG player. Dragon Shield affiliate link in the description down below. There is, as stated, also a TCG player affiliate link. All you do is click the links before you shop, and they help us out tremendously. We get a small kickback, and it helps support the channel. Also, if you want to help out the channel, you can also check out Millennium Threads. Millennium Threads is a wonderful product manufacturer, I guess you could say, a clothing design Etsy store. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's an Etsy store where you can get different like Yu-Gi-Oh themed things. I know they have like crush cards things. They have just various different designs for Yu-Gi-Oh.
Hats, hoodies,
all kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, all kinds of neat stuff.
And if you use code TOPCUT10, you can get 10% off. So be sure to check that out. We have some wonderful stuff that is available in the store. I think that there's a Top Cut podcast design potentially. I'm not sure. Regardless, be sure to check that out. So, why don't we get on into the meat of today's episode? Today is going to be kind of like last week where we did a lot of meta discussion, right? So, over the weekend, we had Ycs Rio De Janeiro, and it's so funny to think that this weekend we actually had two events. I say we had an event. We had two events this weekend. So we had Ycs Rio De Janeiro, and we had another event. So basically, we had one event where a former runner-up put their heart and soul into a deck list, did everything that they could to make a showing at this event, and faced multiple pro players and really played their heart and soul out, right?
And it turned out great for them.
Yes. I mean, they masterfully got to the championship where they played a Sprite mirror. And at the other one, a bunch of YouTubers showed up and lost to Mystic Mind Burn. So that's what happened this weekend. Ycs Rio De Janeiro was Mystic Mind Burn all the way through.
Not just Mystic Mind Burn.
Oh yeah, no, it's better. It gets better.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a little bit.
No, let's talk about it right now.
Okay, sure. It was Ujama Mystic Mind Burn.
Amazing, just amazing.
The only main decked monsters in quotation marks that they were running was Ujama Trio and Ujama Duo
in the main deck.
in the main. For those of you who do not know what those cards do, they are both normal traps. You activate them, and your opponent gets
They're normal traps, you say?
yes, and your opponent gets with Ujama Trio they get 3 Ujama tokens, and Ujama Duo they get 2.
Sure.
If those cards are removed from the field for any reason, your opponent takes 500 damage.
Is it 500 on Duo also?
I believe so. Double check me. Most of that was just an assumption because I haven't actually read Delinquent Duo, Ujama Duo.
Sure, I'll look it up real quick.
Anyway, the whole point is that no matter what, your opponent is guaranteed to have monsters on field, so that way they can't activate monster effects.
300 damage for Duo.
Okay, yeah, it's 300 damage for Duo. Either way. In addition to that, he was also maining Gozen Match and Rivalry.
And it's 300 for Trio as well.
I was wrong. Okay, cool. I also haven't thought about this card in
Forever.
5 ever. Anyway, so what you can do is you can set Metaverse, or Demise of Land, set the Ujama Trio or your Ujama Duo. Activate Metaverse, chain that. Mystic Mine up, they have monsters on field. And then if you chain Gozen Match, Rivalry, or Warlords, it actually locks your opponent into Beasts or Earth.
Okay.
If they do not have those, they cannot summon monsters anyway. They also can't link summon into anything to get them off the field. They can't really do a whole lot. And then if they do get removed, your opponent gets burned. Along with your standard other Mystic Mine burn stuff. He was not running any of the monsters that you would normally see in this deck. Planet Pathfinder, Silent Wabi, or Imano Iwata.
That's so weird.
And then the only other monster he was running was Acid Golem?
Lava
Golem.
Golem.
Yeah, different Golem in the side.
You could literally build this entire deck for like $50.
Oh yeah, don't do it.
I'm just saying you could.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not advising you to do that. But I'm saying if you wanted to win a YCS, you could do it for $50.
Apparently.
In theory.
And then his extra deck was just full of 15 5 3-ofs he had lying around. He had Koala in there.
I mean, Koala is amazing.
Yeah. And then like Elemental Hero Nebula Neos, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
I don't remember what else. It literally does not matter because they were literally just there as fuel for Pot of Extravagance.
Yes, and there was 3 Gustav Max in there also.
Again, well, yeah, just straight up for the... Because I don't know how you'd be able to make it.
Oh, you laugh and just burn your opponent to death without ever looking at your extra deck.
Yeah. Like
You don't actually make it.
Yeah. Again, it's literally just there for fuel to make...
Right.
For you to activate Pot of Extravagance, so you do not care.
Okay, so somebody in our Discord server, they did the math. $121.62 was the price of the championship winning deck list.
But that's like at the rarities and everything like that of what he had.
Yeah. Yeah,
because he had some higher rarity stuff than you can probably get.
Yeah, you could literally buy a single tier element field spell or this.
Yeah, exactly. Or this entire deck.
Actually, I think that's Canadian dollars.
Wait, did that pricing include the extra deck?
Probably.
Because that extra deck literally doesn't matter. You can full of whatever bulk extra deck monsters you have lying around.
Just
like,
wild.
Yeah, like Dispatcherazzi or whatever that common was that everyone got like 20 copies of if you bought any of that set it came out of.
I can't bring myself to imagine.
I respect this man.
Think about this. He main decked 3 Dark Ruler No More.
Yeah.
That card alone is like $6.
Yeah, which is fair.
That Dark Ruler is like almost 20% of the deck list.
Yeah, and the pots are like a couple of dollars, I think. listen. I respect the man for, all the hard work that he obviously put in there. I can tell that there's a lot of decision making that went into this deck. To be fair, he chose violence, but, particularly with his decision to just not run Silent Wobby or Planet Pathfinder or any of the normal monsters. He also had Terraforming on the side, which was interesting. But I think, when I brought that up, and I think you had a good point. I think it was there as an extra card to side in when it's time to side out the Gozen or the Rivalry.
I honestly believe that that's what it is. Could we see more than just... Okay, so it's no secret by now. You saw the title of this episode. This episode is our Banlist predictions.
Yes.
Is this the potential...
For Mystic Mind to finally get banned? No.
No. For Ojama Trio to get limited?
No.
No. Like realistically, it's a burn card, right?
Realistically? No.
You don't think so?
No. You see, the smart thing to do would just be ban Mystic Mind, because that's what's enabling this whole thing.
Right.
But Konami's not going to do that for a fluke, if you would. It's not a fluke. Konami's just going to look at it.
You mean Mystic Mine?
Yeah.
Okay, but Mystic Mine has won the last 3 major events. It won Euros and Nationals also.
That's true.
Just with different packages.
Yeah, but then Konami's probably going to look at the fact that it was 3 different packages and go, see, Mystic Mine's not the problem.
Yeah.
It's the packages.
Yeah. So let's limit all the Rika cards.
Yeah, let's ban Terraforming, limit Demise of the Land.
Terraforming, the card that was in his side deck.
Yeah. Ban Demise, limit Demise of the Land. Let's also limit Ujama Trio and Duo.
For good measure.
Just for good measure. Yeah, and leave it at that. To be fair, the Demise of the Lands would be rough for the deck, because then they have to rely on the opponent summoning a monster before they can activate Mystic Mine.
So, before we get into our actual ban list predictions, I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna throw it out there. I don't know who all is interested, but 2 things happening in our Discord server. 1, every Thursday, we are in fact doing our remote duel locals.
Yeah.
I want to take just a moment to remind everybody about that. We really enjoy doing the remote duel locals. They're free to enter. If you're interested, come and join. Discord server links in the description below.
It's mostly for play testing, but then also you can kind of, what's what I'm looking for? Flex on people, I guess?
If needed, yeah. So, the other thing that I am looking for is we're looking for people to join our fantasy football league in the Discord server. I know that the Venn diagram of people that play fantasy football and Yu-Gi-Oh is not exactly a circle, but if you are interested in doing our Discord server fantasy football league for this year, be sure to go ahead and join the server and let us know, because we need, I think, 5 or 6 more people.
Unfortunately, I will not be partaking in that, as I am not a football person.
Again, less of a circle, more of like the number 8. But we're trying.
A bad number 8, where it's like just a little bit of indentation.
Like an infinity, almost. And that they're touching, but they're not overlapping necessarily.
Well, no, I'm saying it's like somebody with bad handwriting doing 8, where there's just like a little bit of overlap because they're not very good.
I don't even know. I guess if you do like 2 circles for your 8 instead of like an infinity sign.
Yeah, like the figure 8.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you're interested in that, come let us know, because we need people. So, okay, let's talk a little bit more about both of the events that we had this weekend. So, we had the Chalice Slime Monthly, which, for those that are interested, the top cut of Chalice Slime Monthly looks something like this. 5 tier element, 4 sprite, 2 math mech, 1 Rika, 1 Fluandereeze, 1 Adventure Virtual World, and 1 Labyrinth. All right.
I want to see that dude's deck list.
All right. Your top 32 for Ycs Rio De Janeiro, which was also this weekend. You have 10 tier limit at 31%. You have 7 sprite at 22%. you have 2 Sprite Tearlament, 6.3%, 5 Math Mech for 15%. Could you imagine there's 15 Math Mechs? Oh my god.
Jesus.
And 8 other, which is even 25%. So if you're wondering about the other, you have things like Invoked Branded.
Ooh.
Which is interesting. And let's see. We did have a Rika make it. We had a Marincess make it. We had a Fluunderies, a Dynamorphia, Eldritch Branded, things like that. And of course, Burn. So, there was also a regional over the weekend. The regional was, we don't have all of top 8. We have 6 of top 8, but what we have is 4 Tearlament, 1 Branded, and 1 Sky Striker. So,
interesting.
Yes. And I'm sorry, we had a regional in Detroit, and then we had a regional in Iowa. And Iowa was 3 Tearlament, 1 Sky Striker, 1 Branded, and then all we know for Detroit is that first place was Tearlament.
Okay.
So, overall, I would say we may have just skipped over the Tier 0 Sprite format and moved straight into Tearlament domination.
Yeah, which is weird.
Again, a huge shout out and a huge thank you to Sebto for organizing all this information. Be sure to check out the Sebto 360 on YouTube. There will be a link down below again, because oh my god, his meta analysis is just as far. He compiles all the deck lists and links, and
I mean he's pretty much. I mean that his like Excel spreadsheets have pretty much allowed us to make the last 2 episodes.
Pretty much, yeah. So, and then if you want a little bit more of a breakdown into what was being played individually in each of these decks, so we've talked a lot about the different ways to play Sprite, the different ways to play Tearlament, things like that. But this we saw... Oh, and there was also a Tri-Brigade Lyrilusk in top 32.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So if you're wondering, if you look at something like Patrick Hoban topped this event, he was 3rd after Swiss.
Oh, nice.
And he was playing Sprite Tearlament Punk. Yeah.
It seems like a chunky deck.
It was probably 40 cards, or 39 in an Upstart Goblin, knowing Patrick Hoban.
Knowing good old Hoban, he's figured out a way to pull it off.
Steven Trifanowski, so, Triff Gaming.
Yeah.
He got top 8 at this event, and he was playing Sprite Tearlament Danger.
Ooh.
Right.
Going for the Danger Tearlament stuff.
Yes.
Which we talked about last episode.
Right. And honestly, most of the Tearlament decks that topped were playing the Danger package. You had Ycs, who is a well-known YouTuber. He's from Canada. He was playing Tearlament Punk with seemingly no Sprite or Danger stuff. Let's see. Other notable names. You have Jesse Cotton, who got top 4 with Tearlament Danger. And I'm trying to see if I know any other names. I know Gabriel Netz topped with Tearlament Danger. He got top 16. Then it
really seems like Danger Tearlament is like the best form of the deck right now.
I would say it is. Kamal Crooks, very well-known player, got top 32 with Sprite Live Twin.
Okay.
Which I think is a very cool way to play the deck. And Hani Jahari got top 32 with Tearlament Danger.
Again, it really seems like Danger Tearlament is the way to go with that deck right now.
Yeah, I think it is. Just the way that you can construct the deck to basically have a way to throw Tearlaments into the graveyard at all times is really powerful.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'll either get to throw a Tearlament in the graveyard, or you get to stick a giant 3k beat stick on the board.
Something like that.
One or the other. Take your pick, opponent.
Also, playing Danger Mothman gives you better ways to hit rank 4 plays.
Mm-hmm. Not just oh yeah, and there are some really good rank 4 monsters right now.
Right. So Time Thief Redoer is the big one that you see a lot of them making.
Yeah. Were any of them running Abyss Dweller?
Probably not the Tearlament decks.
I don't know why.
Because they kind of need their graveyard.
Abyss Dweller only affects your opponent.
Oh, I mean, that may have been
one-sided.
They probably were playing Abyss Dweller then. I haven't looked. I'll be honest. I have not looked at the deck list.
Okay. Yeah. Because like me playing Marincess, I just recently was able to finally figure out how to fit in the Abyss Dweller. Against Tillerman, it is a shutdown.
So, just notably, you have 5 Math Mech decks here in top 32. And of those 5 decks in top 32, at least 2 of them were playing the Adignister package. And you had 2 of the top 4 was Math Mech.
Okay, so like the thing is, like one of the Adignister Math Mech decks I saw was less of a Math Mech deck with Adignister, but more of an Adignister deck
With a little bit of Math Mech.
with a tiny Math Mech package. I'm talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 main deck cards. They weren't even running Super Factorial.
Yeah, that's insanity to me.
Yeah, like they weren't running.
Not that we saw anyway.
Yeah, like it's not the new one. They didn't run the new one that was supposedly broke the deck. And they also weren't running Super Factorial. They were running Induction and Equation of all things. It's like
Yes.
It's like 2 addition, 1 diameter, 1 equation, 1 induction, and that was it. That was the full package.
Which doesn't make sense to me. Maybe we just like aren't remembering all of it.
But I think that the individual, because I only saw 1 deck list, and the individual who I had seen, from what I could tell, was using it as a backup engine.
Right.
To get so that way if they're at Ignister plays gets interrupted or stalled out.
Right.
Or you know what I mean. He can use that. He can use the Math Mech stuff to kind of give it a kick and get the engine back up and running again.
Right.
Yeah, give the Ignisters a little bit of percussive maintenance.
So I really love the idea of blending the Math Mech deck with the Adignister deck because obviously...
Yeah, they're both a generic Cyburst deck that are based around Cyburst. They don't care about attribute.
Exactly. So...
Ooh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Ooh.
Oh, I didn't even catch it.
Ooh, I did.
So I would say that it's really interesting to see these Danger Math Mech decks kind of going in and catching just it's innovation on the deck. Yeah. Right? Just seeing the innovation on the deck and the way that the deck moves forward is always going to be fascinating to me, and I'm kind of interested to see where the deck goes from here. Because the more that this deck gets innovated on, the more likely it is that we see this deck take a larger and larger cut of representation.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have anything but admiration for people that took Math Mech to this event, seeing how terrible the representation was for Math Mech at Euros. I mean, it's kind of a bold move.
It's a very bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it turns out.
Right, exactly.
I know sports memes.
I do the sports meme thing.
The ball went.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know if it's a good thing or not. It
doesn't matter. Goal! Is there anything else that sticks out to you strongly about top 32 off the top of your head?
Let me take another quick look at it.
Sure.
Let's see. Not particularly. That Dynamorphia player looks interesting though. Now I'm really curious about that.
I too am very curious about the Dynamorphia deck list. I also would really love to see the Marincess deck list.
Yes, because I want to compare it to mine.
Yeah, I kind of want to see what they're doing with Marincess that kind of made the difference here. So,
well, I mean, because Marincess deck got first at some regional or something not too long ago. I can't fully remember. It's been like a month.
Yeah. Overall, though,
like
this is good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So
surprisingly, we actually have a really diverse meta right now.
Very.
Probably up until we get the Ishizu stuff. Then it's just going to be Tearlament everywhere.
Right.
Probably. I guarantee I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you're guaranteed wrong. Just like probably wrong.
Come on, it's me. I'm always wrong. And that's how I know.
True.
And that's how I know when I'm right about something.
Why?
Because I just go, here's what I think, and do the opposite.
Fair. So let's talk about I'd love to talk about the Banlist implications of this. Before we do that, since the Banlist implications are probably going to be the back half of the episode, we're just going to take just a quick moment to thank one of our sponsors, ETB Games. So ETB Games is our locals in Alexandria, Louisiana. You can check them out. They're a wonderful place to get all of your singles and sealed product for all of the card games that you love, like Digimon, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, and Yu-Gi-Oh! They also have all of your deck boxes, playmats, binders, things like that you need for these games. You can also get all of your figurines, dice, and everything for your tabletop gaming
tabletop
needs.
stuff, yeah.
Right.
TTRPG stuff.
Right, absolutely. So if you're interested, be sure to check out ETB Games in Alexandria, Louisiana. Their link is in the description down below. So let's go ahead and talk about the actual ban list and what we would like to see from it. Because it's weird, right?
So do you want to start with the most obvious thing?
Sure.
Mystic Mine gone. It needs to go.
Okay, let me provide to you a counterpoint.
Okay.
What are the best decks right now?
That'd be Sprite, Tier Limit, and the variations therein.
Right. What decks have won the last 3 events?
Mystic Mine.
Mystic Mine Turbo, Rika featuring Mystic Mine, and Sword Soul featuring Mystic Mine.
What do those things have in common?
Sure, but there's another thing they all have in common, which is that they're not Sprite or Tier Limit. So the counter argument, and this is me I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Which is fair.
If I'm being honest, I absolutely agree mine should go.
But it also seems like it's the only thing keeping the playfield from being only Sprite and Tier Limit.
Potentially, yes. So, if that's the case, then what exactly do we do about Sprite and Tier Limit from making it to where those are the only 2 decks in the meta?
Well, that's the thing, because not every single deck that has... Granted, yes, so far all the decks that aren't Sprite or Tier Limit that have gotten first to these tournaments all were running Mystic Mine, but not all the top decks that weren't Sprite or Tier Limit have been running Mystic Mine.
Sure,
but I think I think if Mystic Mine wasn't a thing, we would still see about the same amount of other decks as well. We just wouldn't see them in first place. Or more specifically, I think the ones that are running Mystic Mine are the ones that are beating out the other non-Sprite or Tier Limit decks. Because everyone right now is preparing for Sprite and Tier Limit because it's, the 2 best decks in the room.
That's fair.
But of course, even with that, they're still, because Yu-Gi-Oh is going to be Yu-Gi-Oh, even if you're heavily prepared for a matchup, you can still lose it very easily.
Right.
So I'm thinking that if you do ban Mystic Mine, you'll just won't see as many Mystic Mine in the tops because it's the Mystic Mine that's letting those specific players beat out the other decks.
I would agree that if you ban Mystic Mine, you will not see near as much Mystic Mine at the tops.
Yes, obviously.
I may have misheard you, but I feel like that's what you said.
It was something along those lines, but basically I'm playing devil's advocate to your devil's advocate that Mystic Mine needs to go. It just needs to go.
So, yes, I will say Mystic Mine needs to go.
But
I think that you would have a hard time hitting Mystic Mine without also discussing whether or not it's time to hit Sprite or Tier Limit. Granted, they've only been out for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's bold to say that they need to be hit.
Like, what? Okay, so the thing is, Konami is not going to hit a single Sprite card that says Sprite or Tier Limit on that card.
Correct.
What do you hit then? I mean, you could hit the King of the Swamp for Tier Limit, but then they just kind of shrug and go, oh well, and just keep doing what they've been doing. They just don't make Millennium Eyes.
So King of the Swamp is an interesting discussion point.
Do you start hitting dangers?
They've done it in the past.
Yeah, but do they do it again?
I mean, they had the Danger Dark World FTK, and their solution was to hit all the dangers.
Yeah. And then of course over on the Sprite side, do we just do what the OCG did and ban Totally Awesome?
The issue is, I don't know that Totally Awesome is the issue. If it was, which, sure, Toad is an issue, but...
Getting 2 Toad effects per turn is a different issue altogether.
Right, but I don't know that Toad needs to be banned because there's other versions of Sprite that are also very good.
I mean, do you... Yeah, well, yeah, but still, you got to do something about the Frog engine. Then, because you can't hit the Sprite engine.
I think limiting Swap Frog.
Oh yeah, no, I think limiting because then it'll force them to run Dupe Frogs. And then if you...
I don't know that it forces them to run dupe frogs.
Because they need multiple frogs to get to trigger, so that way they can get the Ronin Totem. Well, they need to run a third frog for the Ronin Totem.
I don't know quite how the frog stuff works. I'll be honest.
So you get a swap frog out. Activates effect, it returns to your hand.
Sure.
Activate effect again to mill Ronin Totem to summon it.
Okay.
Effect again to bounce it back to your hand. Effect again to mill. They usually just do another swap frog, and then effect your Ronin Totem, banishing swap frog, specialing the Ronin Totem, Toad.
So do you need a frog monster, or do you need a water monster?
Frog.
Interesting.
So if you limit swap... So the reason I'm running 3 is because then there's always the opportunity that they'll just hard draw into it.
Right.
And then, of course, even if your opponent does something like... I don't know, stops 1, you have a second and a third. Limiting it just means that now the frog engine goes from 3 swap, 1 Ronin Totem to 1 swap, I assume 1 dupe, 1 Ronin Totem. Dupe frog being like the second best frog.
Right.
Third best frog.
Interesting. So swap limit could be something, but that still doesn't really solve the issue of there being other variants. And
yes.
honestly, I think that Sprite is maybe a bigger issue.
Yeah, but the issue is that they're not going to hit any card that has Sprite in its name or in its card text. So then they'd have to sit down and figure out every single possible deck combination and then just start hitting those. Because then you start hitting like the Tri-Brigade engine because of Tri-Brigade Sprite. You start hitting
the Live Twin engine.
The Live Twin engine because it's Live Twin Sprite. You have to start hitting all these extra engines because they're not going to hit sprites.
Okay, so what if we ban Mystic Mine, ban Artifact Scythe?
I didn't even think about Scythe. The Scythe wasn't even part of this discussion originally, so I didn't even think about it.
Right, yeah, it's kind of coming out of the blue, but it still needs to go. It's not... Scythe Lock is still a real thing, and Sprite is doing Scythe Lock.
It's nowhere near as bad as it was, thank God.
Yes.
Or rather, thank Raw. Keep it with the Yu-Gi-Oh theme here.
Harpy's Featherstorm can also go.
Yes, because that would hit Fluundereeze a little bit. Not a whole lot, a little bit, but I also kind of agree because listen, I've only been hit with Harpy's Featherstorm once, and I just kind of went, huh. Okay.
It sucks.
Yeah, it sucked, but I just kind of went, okay, cool, pass.
Yeah, it sucks.
And they still couldn't kill me. And I just OTK'd them next turn. Yeah, I have this weird thing with Flu where I'll brick or I'll beat them no problem.
Right.
It's weird.
So, I think a card that I would like to see gone is Fairy Tale Snow.
Yes.
It's another thing that can be sent or milled with the tier limit cards.
Yeah, and it also gives them another level 4 on board for them to hit their rank 4 engine if they really want to.
Right.
Not only that, it's also a Book of Moon, and it can be activated multiple times in the same turn. It can activate multiple times in the same chain.
Yes.
So your opponent can literally go activate effect Fairy Tale Snow, Chain Crow, cool, effect of Snow.
It's broken.
To dodge the crow to one of its outs.
Right. And then they can chain Crow and you can chain Snow again.
If you have the materials to banish.
Still. It's insane.
Theoretically, as long as you have stuff to banish, you can just chain Snow.
What about something like Chaos Ruler the Chaotic Magical Dragon?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't have enough experience because I've only ever seen because like in the couple tournaments that we've been to, I've only seen that card come up once.
So the theory is that,
and it was in Dragon Link.
Right. So the theory is people are using it in Punk, and they're making it in Punk, and then milling a bunch of tier limits.
That is a problem.
And also the card is just kind of problematic in general.
Yeah, because like so I also have these memories of using it back when I played Dragon Link.
Sure.
I only ever got the add to hand once. And I added Effect Veiler. Don't get me wrong, which was great. But the problem is I wasn't hitting any of the things I was
wanting to hit.
Yeah. And like I said, I've only ever encountered it one other time, and that was using Dragon Link, and they completely whiffed.
Yeah.
When I mean they completely whiffed, it was all spells. It was 5 spells and traps.
Yeah. Personally, I think that we have to see Mystic Mine and Artifact Scythe go.
But
It's overdue.
yeah, but I do agree. Chaotic Ruler probably needs to hit the ban.
Yes. Fairy Tale Snow, I think, should not have ever come off. But it's definitely time for it to go again. I'm tired of that card. It is broken. It can go. As far as limits, I still want my Wind Up Carrier Zenmaity to come back. If that involves banning Wind Up Hunter, I'm fine with that.
Here, I disagree. I believe they need to ban Hunter and put Zenmaity to 3.
Okay, yes, but it's very rare that I say that there's a card that I want off the ban list that should probably stay at 1 for at least a format to see.
Fair enough.
Wind Up Carrier Zenmaity is pretty broken.
Fair enough, because the loop still exists, but it's no longer a hand loop.
Right.
It's a resource loop.
Yes.
And
it's broken.
Yes, but it's great for climbing into access code talker.
I mean, you could do topologic Gumblar loops.
Fair enough.
I mean, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's a lot like the telephone where you can just kind of do whatever you want as long as it's generic.
Oh my god, Zenmaity telephone loops. Let's go.
But I don't think you can use telephone to make Zenmaity.
You can't, because telephone's a 1.
Oh, I wasn't even considering that. I don't think Zenmaity's generic.
It is.
Oh, I thought he was
It's generic 3s.
Okay, I thought he was like 2 level 3.
I'm almost positive Zenmaity is any 2 level 3s.
Yes. It's either that or Zenmaity's effect is like so revolved around windups, it's just unusable in anything that isn't wind up. One or the other.
So, yeah, it's generic.
Okay, cool, yeah. Yeah, but it's okay, in that case, its effect's just so specific to...
Speaking of, if
Wind-ups.
anybody's going to be at YCS Niagara and they have Ultimate Rare Wind Up Carrier Zenmaity first editions, hit me up. I would like to buy them from you.
Fair.
Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Ulti, First Ed, Near Mints, or Light Plays. I'll buy them.
Okay. It's out there in the ether now.
Yes, it is. I have a list. Like the Karakuri cards and Ultimate Rare, I'll buy those too. Because I want high rarity retro format stuff.
Because why not?
And also I want wind up stuff because wind ups are cool.
Windups are really cool.
So I think that there's a bunch of cards that I would like to see limited. For example, I would like to see Rivalry of Warlords, Anti-Spell Fragrance.
The floodgates.
Yeah, the Skill Drain can go back to 1. Goes in match, Tikaboo. All of those like hard trap card floodgates, put them to 1. I'm fine with it. All of them.
Now, does this include non-continuous trap card floodgates?
Such as
Dimensional Barrier, like the one turn.
Yeah, limit it.
Got
Sure.
it. The one turn ones.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
fine
cool.
with that. I
just wanted to quantify that you're also including the one turn floodgates,
sure.
which would also technically include stuff like Abyss Dweller and Artifact Lancia. The thing about Abyss Dweller is that there's no point in limiting it because people only run 1 if they run it at all.
Right.
And Artifact Lancia is Artifact Lancia.
Dude, this tier limit stuff's getting so out of hand. I'm thinking about maining 3 Tenyi Spirit Shathana.
Huh.
Just for Abyss Dweller plays.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you only need a Shathana and any level 4.
Yeah.
So, theoretically, you could, if you know your up against tier limit, you could just special the Shathana, normal any of your other Tenyis, not Tenyis, Sword Souls, not activate their effects, and just make Abyss Dweller.
Yes.
And
And it will have a water as material, too.
Yep. So all your water monsters, including your Moyi, will gain 500 attack.
Is it all water monsters?
Yes, all of your water monsters gain 500 attack.
That's kind of broken. Well, it's not broken. It's
only-
fine, but it's cool.
The only reason I know this is because it gets ridiculous in Morensis, because all of a sudden my 4,300 becomes 4,800.
Or your 46 becomes 51.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Hey, that's a nice access code you made at 4,300. I'm just going to run it over.
Yeah. All right, so what do you say we move on to the mailbag? Or do we want to do a finalized ban list, just prediction?
Sure.
Ban Mystic Mine, Artifact Scythe, and Fairy Tale Snow.
Yes.
Limit anything in particular? You want to do all the floodgates?
No, I disagree with Floodgates. I think really the only thing I would want to see limited right now.
And ban Hunter and limit Zameity.
Yeah. Also ban Chaos Ruler.
Sure.
Yeah. But like the only
And Harpy's Featherstorm.
Yeah. The only other thing I think of possibly limiting is maybe, I don't know, hitting like, maybe putting a Sword Soul, maybe do like...
No, Sword Soul hasn't topped an event in months.
I know. I'm just saying, like, if they're going to hit...
Don't do this to me.
If they're going to hit Sword Soul...
Don't do it to me.
I would want them to do, like...
Monk of the Tenny.
Monk of the Tenny to, like, 2.
That would be so stupid.
Or, like, Moe to 2.
Don't do that to me. All right, let's limit the right of Aramasir.
I agree. They either have to limit right and semi-limit Water Enchantress, or limit Water Enchantress, semi-limit right. It's got to be one of the two options.
Limiting right is fine for me.
Oh,
that way, if you DD Crow it out, Water Enchantress can't go get it.
Yeah. But that's why I'm fine with like either one, because then if they send the Water Enchantress, you DD Crow the Water Enchantress, they're out of Water Enchantresses.
Yeah, but then they can still just hard draw right.
They have to hard draw right though.
Well, if you limit Water Enchantress, they have to banish it for its effect.
Well, yeah, but then, well, no, because so like, what? Okay, so let's say they Foolish Burial it in Resolution, DD Crow,
and then they just activate right.
Fair. Either one, I still think will work just fine. The limit on the Water Enchantress though is more of a we don't want to hit it,
right?
But I guess we have to, kinda.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I just...
You probably... I keep forgetting that we're not in a video format. 'Cause I was making faces while saying that.
All right. Let's do some mailbag questions. What do you say?
Well, let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it, brother.
Let's start off with... Oh, my goodness. Why is Sword Soul the worst deck of the format? Honestly, dude, I don't know. I feel like that deck should be topping way more than it is. I just feel like all the pros that were on Sword Soul have switched to Sprite and Tier Limit, and so it just doesn't have any representation.
I think also because it's because people are now maining decking board breakers, and that just
potentially.
Yeah, so I think that's what's causing a lot of Game 2 and Game 3 losses, is all these board breakers getting sided in.
Potentially, but still frustrating.
That might have some...
I still think Sword Soul, if played correctly and built correctly, is a good deck.
Oh, absolutely. Don't get me wrong. It's an amazing deck, particularly, with the, what is it, Yugioh? Who's the dude?
The dude.
Yeah, the one that's just like, if you banish something, I'm going to punish you for it.
Chang Ying.
Yeah, Chang Ying. Oh, I hate when you pull that out on me. I'm like, I hate it so much. I hate it so much.
All right. What card or deck did you cope on the most?
Listen, I'm going to be honest with myself and everyone here.
Okay.
I am currently in the middle of coping Labyrinth.
Okay, but Labyrinth has some hope to it.
Is it really?
The entire time you've played Madolche, how's that?
That was less copium and more I'm just an idiot. Less I'm an idiot, more I just really like this deck.
My biggest cope. Right when I got back into the game, I swore that Dark Magician was broken.
'Cause it was, compared to Dino Rabbit and Zector wind-up format.
True.
It was absolutely busted and would have been tier 0 at the time.
Oh, no, I didn't see this question before, so I didn't prep. Without looking it up, can you tell your audience the difference between effect and effect?
Okay, so to affect something means...
With an E or an A?
With an A.
Okay.
Is the thing that is being applied.
Okay.
Effect is what has been applied, I think. Because I'm thinking on the terms of a RPG where I have inflicted you with the burn status. I have affected with an A, burn, and burn has an effect with an E of taking damage.
You know, I couldn't tell if you're right or wrong. So I'm just gonna say you're probably right.
Specifically in the context of effect and effect.
I have no idea.
I have no idea if I'm right either.
All right, favorite YCS memory.
This was YCS San Antonio, I believe. Was it?
It was Austin.
Thank you. YCS
2013.
Austin, 2013. This is in the middle of Mermail. Okay.
Yeah, this is fire water format. This is actually a great point in the game's history.
I'm on Fire Kings.
No, I know exactly what story this is. Yeah.
I don't have Wolf Barks. They're way too expensive.
Right, because they're being used for Fire Fist, which is a meta deck.
Yeah, so I have Fire Kings before Ganesha, the Elephant, came out, or the Field Spell.
Right.
I'm running Flamvel, Fire Dog, and Rekindling.
Oh, God.
So I sit down across...
Now that I think about it, dude, you could have done so many cool things with that deck. Isn't Flameveil Guard 200 defense?
Yeah.
Dude, you could have run Flameveil Guard and done 6 synchro plays.
No, you mean the level 1 vanilla?
Yeah.
He's 2100 defense.
Oh.
0 attack.
Oh, okay. There's got to be ways to abuse, like, you could have abused Rekindling for synchro plays, I'm sure.
Not really, unless I, like, normal summon Flamville Fire Dog, run over one of my opponent's monsters, effective Flamville Fire Dog to special summon, maybe like a level 2 tuner, synchro 6.
I'm sure there's a way to do it.
Anyway, didn't matter. I didn't have the money for any of the big synchros you could have run at the time. I'm sitting across, so I've already dropped out. I went X3 and dropped. Going into a side event, it was Attack of the Giant cards. I remember this specific Attack of the Giant cards because it was Billy Brake was there, wasn't he?
Yes.
You were in that tournament.
I was not in it.
No?
No, I was not in it.
Okay.
I foolishly played way past when I needed to in the main event.
So I sit down and across from my opponent, and I win the die roll, and I go first.
Sure.
I normal summon Barong, and I have Yaksha in my hand.
Okay.
This is broken, okay? I set circle, pass. And he goes, oh, this is going to be an easy win. Starts doing his normal Mermail stuff. Pops
Sure.
Barong. I go, effective Barong? Okay, yeah, sure, whatever. And I grab Garunix. Fire King High Avatar Garunix. He's like,
Sure.
whatever, kid. Keeps doing his stuff. And near the end, I activate Circle, popping the Garunix in my hand.
Broken.
He's like, yeah, whatever. Swing for a bunch of damage. Pass. No back row. I go, cool. Draw for turn. Stand by effective Garunix. Oh, what's he do? Oh, he'll special summon himself and then destroy all monsters on the field. What? Yeah.
Nuke the field.
He's like, all right, whatever. So I started doing some stuff. By the end of game 1, I have the full Garunix Sacred Phoenix loop on him.
Sure.
So what that is I'll have a Garunix on my field. The standby happens. My standby happens. Garunix and Sacred Phoenix Engrave activate.
Mm-hmm.
I go Sacred Phoenix, High Avatar Garunix 1, Sacred Phoenix 2. Sacred Phoenix specials, destroys all spells and traps.
Oh.
Garunix comes out, destroys all monsters, including the other Garunix and the Sacred Phoenix. So at the start of my turn, the only monster on field is a Fire King High Avatar Garunix. The only card on field.
Jeez.
And I just kept swinging, and he lost. He goes into game 2 sweating.
He felt the heat.
Oh, he felt the heat. But, and like, because like I could just see it on like the edge of his shirt collar. And he gets game 2. We're in game 3. I am up on life, and I've got the Garunix loop going again.
Oh, Lord.
He still wins because he summoned Mooling Glacia.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what he did something to bounce the Garunix back to my hand, so I couldn't have the Garunix loop anymore. And was able to swing for game. By the end of that, he had pit stains. His entire front of his shirt was soaked. He was breathing heavy.
Amazing.
His friend who was watching looked at him and was like, man, I thought I was going to have to start making fun of you. That would have been embarrassing. And then we got in talking, and I told him I didn't have wolf barks, and his friend went, that's even more embarrassing.
Ugh. Brutal. My favorite YCS memory. The one that's actually probably my favorite memory from the YCS. I can't actually tell for legality reasons, but my favorite one that I can tell is that we were at YCS Charlotte back in April.
Yeah.
And while we were there, I noticed that I was upset because I just lost my round and I was dropping. But then I went up to the judges table. I was like, I changed my mind. I was just heated. I may as well just play out the last couple of rounds of the day.
Yeah.
So I undropped. And then I got on Twitter, played around a bit on Twitter, saw that what other people were doing. I was like, you know what? I changed my mind again. I just want to trade. So but as I'm scrolling through Twitter, I see that DZeef had his entire deck box stolen with a max rarity Sword Soul deck. So I go to the judges table to tell him, you know what? I changed my mind again. It's not worth it. I'm just going to drop. And as I'm there, I see them holding the deck box exactly the way he described it on Twitter. And they're thumbing through it. And I go, hey, is that a max rarity Sword Soul deck? And the judge looks at me from down at he's like standing high up on the judge's table. He looks down at me and goes, maybe. Do you know whose it is? I said, yeah, that's DZeef's. That's Doug Zeef's. He's a content creator. He posted on Twitter that it went missing. He was like, okay, well, go find him and have him come up here and talk to us. Couldn't find him. Happened to find Distant Coder. And I was like, hey, I don't know if you have DZeef's number, but his deck box that went missing, they have it at the judges table. And he called him and was like, yo, dude, it's at the judges table, go get it. And he goes up to the judges table and he gets his deck box. And it was cool. I mean, I was just happy that it just happened to work out.
Yep. You gotta love it when stuff like that works out.
Definitely. Let's see. Why D's Nuts is the best gag of the 21st century so far? Definitely because,
I actually have a very serious answer
because it's so easy to gag on D's Nuts.
Okay, so I actually have a very serious answer for this. I actually have a really cool theory. So my theory is the reason why it's so popular has partially to do with the whole zeitgeist of just internet culture in general, along with the ease at which you can insert this joke into almost anything. Like how I can insert these nuts in your mouth.
God dang it!
You see what I mean? Does that theory not make sense? You just have to be less basic about it than some people's anime preferences.
True.
Like looking at you, Naruto fans. Get less basic.
Oh my god! Shots fired. Oh my god!
In all seriousness, I think Naruto is
very basic. All right,
it's all right. However, I can understand why people would really enjoy it, and I'm not saying anyone is. I have no negative opinions on anyone who likes Naruto, because my fiance Angie loves Naruto.
Okay, I'll just say though, Naruto is just like the salt and pepper of anime.
To be fair, you can't have a good steak without salt and pepper.
That is true. That is true. Is this the best era of Yu-Gi-Oh?
Second best, in my opinion.
Agreed. To me, the best era of Yu-Gi-Oh is the 2011 to 2014 Ycs era.
I'd say, yeah, definitely. I would say closer to the 2014 side, so like 2013.
So Dragon Ruler format? All right. Caleb take.
More specifically, let's call Dragon Ruler format the Void format.
The Void.
Everything around it's great. We don't talk about that time.
Yeah. Do you accept Mystic Mine as your Lord and Savior?
No.
Nope. If not, which card is your Lord and Savior? Gate Guardian. Either that or Gear Gigant X.
At the moment, it's Argonaut.
Marincess Aqua Argonaut.
Yeah, for the moment. It changes depending upon what deck I'm playing.
What card design elements would you like to see in breaking the current rules? I.e., like how Zodiac allows one card Exige, Tri-Brigade cheats out links, Sword Soul is one card synchros, Ursa Arctic is negative synchros, etc. So, what design element would you like to see broken by an archetype, basically?
I kind of want to see maybe Exceeds that are made with archetypes, not with level. So an example would be a rank 4 that can be made using a rank 3 and a rank 2 of this specific archetype.
So Zodiac.
No, because all the Zodiacs are rank 4, aren't they?
Sure.
Yeah, so it's just level 4s on top of them. Better idea.
Okay.
Okay. So you have 2 level 2 monsters.
Mm-hmm.
You can exceed them into a rank 4.
So synchro summoning.
But exceed summoning.
Okay. All right. I think. Oh, and by the way, something you missed in this is ritual monsters using attack stats.
That's just Drytron.
I know, but that's something that they said. How Zodiac 1 card exceeds.
Oh, okay.
Strawberry. Yeah, you missed Drytron. Just uses attack stats.
Oh, maybe a ritual archetype that uses defense stats instead?
I guess.
Because then that would make stuff like Labyrinth Wall, like,
Hilarious.
hilariously good. Millennium Shield.
Oh my god. If you had a time machine and could play in any past event with today's knowledge and take a modernized but legal build to blow people's minds, what event are you going to play, what deck are you playing, and what butterfly effect shenanigans do you think happens?
Yeah, I can't come up with an answer better than the answer Sonny came up with.
Oh yeah, you just go to like the national championships from 2005 in GOAT format and just smoke everybody with like modern GOAT decks.
Yep. Because it's the same card pool they had back then.
Yeah, as far as butterfly effect, hopefully GOAT format never becomes a thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But to that I say, hindsight is 2020 though. Help! I can't remember anything before 2020. I have amnesia. Please help me. Hindsight is exclusively 2020. So
I own like half that joke.
Yeah, that joke. I came up with the joke.
Yeah, hold on. I own the setup. You came up with the punchline.
True. Rank these sitcoms: How I Met Your Mother, The Office, Parks and Rec, and Friends. I'm gonna go Parks and Rec, then Friends, then How I Met Your Mother, then The Office, because I haven't watched The Office, only the first like season or so, and I couldn't really get into it.
So first off, with The Office, the first season is just really slow. After that, it gets good. In my opinion, it's Parks and Rec,
Sure.
The Office,
Sure.
blank, 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 Friends, and How I Met Your Mother.
Rough.
I do not like Friends or How I Met Your Mother.
I have one show that I will put above all of these. Do you have any show that you would just put above all of these as far as sitcoms?
Sitcoms.
Clearly Big Bang Theory, right?
No. God, no.
I'm joking. I'm joking, I swear. I genuinely do have a show that I would put above all of these. I have two.
What's that?
At the top of my list, and this is more for my humor, I put MASH.
That's fair. For
second, I put Golden Girls.
Fair.
Although very close second. I love the Golden Girls.
For me, it's Golden Girls. Number
You're
one.
like, now that you say it.
No. That was going to be my answer before.
Sure.
Golden Girls, number
Sure.
one. Listen, the only reason I got into Golden Girls, and I'm so sad to say this, was because of Deadpool.
All right. That's at least you did it.
Huh?
All right. What is the worst anime you've ever watched?
Okay.
Keep in mind we're running low on time.
Okay. So.
Yeah, mine is Naruto. Continue.
So here's an anime. The dub. It's called Ghost. It's called a Ghost Story.
Sure.
The dub is amazing. Do not bother with the sub. It is the worst thing I have ever encountered. Watch the dub. It's hilarious because basically they were given the rights by the company. Funimation was given the rights by the company, and the company went, "We don't care what you do with it." Are you sure? We are writing a blank check. Go for it.
All right.
It is the funniest thing I have ever seen.
Amazing. Favorite horror franchise? I don't have one because I don't like horror movies.
For me, it's a two-way tie.
Okay.
Between Chucky, so Child's Play.
Sure.
The first two movies.
Okay.
Specifically the first two. And Evil Dead.
Okay, I know Chucky is the doll one.
Yes.
I know Evil Dead is the one that later became just like a parody series.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Not parody, but it became goofy.
Right.
Which I like.
All right. That'll wrap it up for today's episode. So, to recap, check out ETB Games, check out Team Dark Arm Dealings. They are our sister YouTube channel. Be sure to check out the Discord server. Check out, let's see. Oh, God, I'm having a TCG Player and Dragon Shield affiliate links. Be sure to check out Millennium Threads. And there's a discount code for that. TopCut10 gets you 10% off. And with all that said, everybody, Have a wonderful week.
And unless you're specifically the Yu-Gi-Oh card Mystic Mine, have a great day, everybody.
Oh, man.